Hey, what's up YouTube? Houston here. And for those of you just finding my YouTube channel, welcome. Please remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell. And for those of you that's been following me and supporting me, as always, salute. And for my favorite patrons, double salute. Hey, I want to send a shout out to the homeless veterans or whatever, because I had an incredible story. I had a homeless veteran call me up. And he said he found me on YouTube, okay? And he had been studying my videos and stuff. And it was amazing because he said he had went through all these personal issues, and then he was in a homeless shelter. And when he found me on YouTube, he said that he liked the way that I explained and broke things down and everything. And because of that, he managed to go from a homeless shelter to actually closing on a house back in December. And I want to send a shout out to all the homeless veterans and let you guys know, hey, we're praying for you guys and encouraging you guys. Don't give up. This is the reason why I do this, because I know it's a lot of you guys out there and you feel that nobody's supporting you. Nobody really don't want to understand or hear your situation or whatever. And that's the reason that I try to create this content, to be able to help as many people in our community as possible. So I definitely want to send a shout out to the homeless veterans and let you guys know that, hey, we love you and we appreciate you, and thank you for your services and support. All right. Now, today's video, we're actually going to be talking about how to get high limit credit cards with a 600 credit score. Now, people are like, oh, that's not possible, whatever. Well, here's the thing about it. Sometimes you don't have to always go directly to the bank to get credit cards, okay? And we're going to be focused on what are the best alternatives. If you can't go to the bank to get a high limit credit card and you have a low credit score, where can you go? And so in order for this to work for you, I'm going to tell you some things that you may need to do, okay? Number one, if you have a low credit score, if you're in this below a 600, then I would definitely encourage you to seek out trying to get an authorized user added to your credit file to help boost up the credit score. Now, all authorized users are not equal. Okay, so if you have questions about adding authorized users to your credit file, you have questions about your personal credit, removing items off your credit, set up a one-on-one consultation by clicking the link in the description. However, authorized users can definitely have an impact, a positive impact on your credit score. All right. Now, another thing many of you guys still not taking advantage of is reporting rent. I get it that you all been dealing with people, you're staying with friends and relatives and you're sharing the rent and everything. Well, here's the thing about it. You're not getting credit for it. So you need to position yourself so that whoever you're paying rent to, that it's actually going to be as a transaction on your credit report. So I tell you guys to sign up for Plastic, PLASTIQ.com. The reason is that you can hook up your Visa, debit, or MasterCard, debit card, or regular credit card to it, and then you want them to send a check to whoever you're paying the rent to. So it can be a rental transaction, so that can put you in a position so that you can actually get a home loan. Okay, and also by that transaction being on, it also positions you to help you get higher lines of credit once that's showing up on the credit file. It does make a difference, guys. Now, here's one of the cards, no credit check, which I love about that. It's called Opfly. Okay, most of the time, a lot of people start at about $1,000, no annual fee, and then after 6 months, a good payment history at $2,000. And I know some of you guys are like, wait a minute, you said high limit credit cards. Well, the thing about it, you do have to build your credit file up. And so I'm trying to show you how to build your credit file up so you can get those high limit credit cards with a 600 credit score, but you have to make sure that you have good payment history. So being able, you don't want the credit cards that's only giving you a $300 or $400 limit. You want to try to get credit cards that's giving you $1,000 or more. Okay, so that's the reason that I'm showing you these credit cards. And once you're able to manage these, trust me, the higher limits is going to come anyway. Now, again, these here credit cards, we're not going directly to the traditional banks like Bank of America, Citibank, Chase and stuff. We're going to avoid those. We're going to backdoor our way to get access to those cards. So that's the reason that this is so important, okay? Now, there's another card out called Credit.ai, which is also a very good card because they give you a primary of $1,500, okay? Now, again, because you may have a low credit score, you're still building yourself up, all right? And because the more data that they start reporting, again, no credit check, so now you're still not worrying about the hard inquiry on the credit file. So just stick with me because we're constantly just building up, all right? So but the thing about it is starting with credit cards that's starting at 1,000 or 1,500 that are unsecured because some of us may be on a budget, so we're not able to get these high limit secured cards and stuff like that. Now, one of the things that I'm definitely going to tell you guys, in terms of to be approved for high limit credit cards, a lot of times it's all about your DTI, your debt to income ratio. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And in terms of how much income you have. So the higher the income, the better the opportunity because the lower the expenses. So I always tell you, like if you hint, say household income is about 87,000 or whatever, and then your rent is running about maybe from 1,000 to 1,500. You know, those are some factors that they look at in terms of helping you qualify, okay? So also, another thing I want to tell you guys, it's not necessary to have a bunch of small, low-limit credit cards on you. I know especially if you're rebuilding your credit and everything, people are telling you, oh, get this card, get that card. You know, you're just doing too much, and you don't have to do that. Okay. Now, one of the things that you do need on your credit file that's definitely going to help you is being able to get a line of, not a line of credit, or at least a loan. Okay. Now, let's get into getting a higher limit credit cards. Now, with the PETAL 1 and the PETAL 2, now you're starting with the higher limit. But again, we're focused, the main primary thing is not focusing on the credit score, okay? They're focused on other things like the income, the cash flow, your debt to income ratio, okay? And soft pull experience. So most of these cards that we're looking at, as a matter of fact, all these cards we're looking at is FICO 9. So that's the thing about it. Actually learning how to leverage your FICO 9 to be able to get access to higher limit credit cards when you have a lower credit score. That's the reason I told you about adding the rent as well as the authorized user. Now, again, coming back to the PETAL card, from 300 to 5,000 for the PETAL 1 and from 300 to 10,000 on the PETAL 2. All right. Again, it's all about the cash flow, all right? Now, here's another thing, guys, I'm going to share with you as well, for those of you that are sticking around. One of the interesting things, if you're just coming out of a bankruptcy, one of the lenders that may be able to give you a loan, or even if you're in a Chapter 11 or Chapter 13 bankruptcy, Upgrade. Upgrade has been trying to work with people even if they're in a bankruptcy. Not a Chapter 7. When you come out of the Chapter 7, they will give you a loan. But if you're, from what I've seen on credit reports, if you're currently in a Chapter 11 or 13 bankruptcy, Upgrade has been still giving people loans. And I'm not talking about like low limit loans. I'm not talking about $1,000 or $2,000. I'm talking about they have been giving people $5, $10, $15,000 loans. Even people that have been in bankruptcy. But again, it's because of the one restructuring of the debt. But another reason is because they look at it, okay, you're putting all this together, so you're going to have more income, more disposable income. So that's the reason these people are starting to get these higher limit. And again, it's a FICO 9 company. So that's the reason that I'm sharing this with you, okay? So if I'm doing a good job of explaining this to you guys, give me a thumbs up, put a comment, let me know. Have you used some of the strategies I've been putting out there to help you guys? Now, moving forward, again, you have a upgrade, as what I was talking about. They have the Visa as well. So their lines go from 500 to 50,000. The minimum credit score on them, again, is a 560. Average is a 678. But again, you do not have to have a 678 to be approved. Okay, because we just discussed that. The minimum annual revenue is a 78,000. Okay, so for you as an individual, if you have a spouse, make sure you include your spouse's income. Also, make sure that if you are retired, you have annuities, make sure that. If you are sharing a rent with somebody and they're paying a portion of the rent, you should include that as well. Okay, just giving you some data points in terms of, so you understand that most of the time when we're applying for credit cards and loans and stuff, we have access to more capital than we think. We just don't ever really think about it. Now, the good thing about it, with their DTI, their debt to income ratio is up to 75%. Now, the unfortunate thing about Upgrade is that they don't operate in Colorado, Idaho, New York, Vermont, Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. However, that still should not stop you from moving forward to getting access to higher limit credit cards with other institutions. Now, let's talk about the Apple Card. The Apple Card, a lot of people love because, again, FICO 9, TransUnion. If your credit score is lower than a 600, you may have challenges. Their cards start from 250 on up. I have seen people with that are retired. People that are retired, and Apple still managed to give them $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 credit cards. Okay. The good thing about with Apple cards, you can use it anywhere that accepts Apple. So no fees, no interest. You get a credit line increase every 6 months. In terms of, they do take into consideration about your debt to income ratio. It's issued by Goldman Sachs. Now, here's the thing about it. The soft pull or the pre-qual is to see if you qualify, and they won't do a soft pull. But then once you accept the card, Goldman Sachs may do a hard pull, okay? So just keep that in mind, guys. Now, here's another card, Chevron Visa Card. All right. The reason that I'm throwing this in there, because a lot of people right now, gas prices are ridiculous. They're ridiculous, and it's Saucony Bank pulls TransUnion. Okay. No impact on the credit score. You can get it with a discharge bankruptcy. They look at the income and debt to income ratio. So if you have a small business, you may can get this on the business side as well, so it won't affect the personal credit score. So that's the thing about it, is being able to look at outside the box instead of always looking at the banks to give you credit cards, high limit credit cards and stuff like that. Looking at these other companies that work with other financial institutions to be able to get access to this. Now, here's one, the Navy Federal Nrewards. Now, of course, you have to become a member, okay? But the good thing about this here is $200 deposit after 6 months turns into $2,000, right? Here's another thing that's interesting about it. This is so important, guys. Now, if you want to bypass this Nrewards card, this is what you want to do. You want to start building your internal scoring right off the bat with Navy Federal. So if you're able to make weekly deposits, open up a pledge loan. Now, in terms of checking accounts, to be able to get a high internal score, which is from 100 to 450, I would tell you to look at the flagship account, money market account, savings account, and CDs. Those are the 4 different types of accounts, okay? So here's the reason that I say this. There was a client of mine. He was in the mid 550 range, okay? Brand new member to Navy Federal. Brand new member to Navy Federal. And what he did, he set up his direct deposit. He did a pledge loan. He did a flagship account. And he did a money market account and a savings account. So what ended up happening, okay, even though he didn't have no other accounts with him, because he had those internal scores, he didn't have a credit card, he had those internal things going on, even though he was in the mid 500s. I want you all to understand this. They said, what credit card would you like? Okay, so he's all like, well, I guess I can only get the security card, right? And so the employee with a Navy Federal said, well, why don't we try to see if you may qualify for our regular credit cards. Now, remember I told you he's in the mid 500s, but because he had those other accounts, he was able to bypass the Nrewards, and I think it was like $3,500 to $5,500 card they gave him off the back they gave it to him. Okay, even though he was in the mid 500s. So that's the reason I tell you guys, this Navy Federal internals, it works. It works. Even if you become a new member, this is what works, okay? So if you guys have any questions about personal credit, business credit, you need a consultation, I would encourage you to click the link below and schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.